What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, we gotta talk about Crash 4 possibly teasing the next Crash game. Now, you know when anything involving Crash Bash exists in the on planet Earth, I'm gonna be there, right? If you guys are new to this channel, or maybe you've never heard of me on Podcast Now, my main channel, you may want to know right now I'm a massive fan of Crash Bash. I think it is I may even say it. It's the best Crash game. I know you guys unsubscribe, right? Dislike. That's what people will do. But no, in all honesty, I love Crash Bash is such an important part of my childhood. I love that game to death. I want to see it in a remake. I would want to see future games like it, even if they don't want to use, the Crash Bash name. Whatever they want, I want to see something like that, okay? Now, 2 days ago, this happened 2 days ago, there was a lot in the Crash Bandicoot world, and I don't think these two are related. I haven't seen any articles connecting the two, so I'm going to assume that everything is still good on this one. So if you guys are confused about the second one, remember, they obviously had that, I wouldn't call it a promotion, but they had that Twitter thing where Crash and Coco were watching, or playing Uncharted 4, right? Which was a reference to Uncharted 4 playing the original Crash. Now Crash 4 was playing Uncharted 4. Really cool, really awesome, really cool to see. Obviously not the same developer, but to see those two kind of supporting each other, really, just fun. Just a fun thing overall. But that kind of overshadowed this little thing that happened earlier in the day. So this happened first, and then the Uncharted thing happened later in the day. And again, I do not think these two are connected. So in the beginning of the game, you actually get a trophy for this. I did this without even knowing. Like when I first downloaded, the very first day and I played it, when you get up off your couch and you start the very first level of Crash 4, there's a TV. And if you hit the TV, it actually shows the logos or like the game start screens of all the Crash games, or the Crash games that I guess are canon in this universe, okay? Really cool. Again, you get a trophy if you do that. And so and now somebody said this. It shows Crash 1, shows Crash 2, shows Crash 3, shows Crash 4, and then it shows a new image that appears on the TV after you beat the game. So I think you do have, now that's what this guy says. You have to beat the game. I don't know if you have to beat the game or not. I assume he did beat the game when he did it. I would like to know if maybe you didn't beat the game when you tried it. I actually haven't, because I'm trying to like do as much of this game like as perfect as I can. So it's taking me like a very long time. But what it ends up becoming is basically a Wampa fruit with two kind of like circles, or like, they call it crescents around it. And this article doesn't say. One is blue and the other is orange. And this site, PlayStation Universe, says fans have been left wondering if it means something. Something it's an early tease of the next core Crash game, while others suggest it might be a spin-off of some kind. It may even be a DLC for Crash 4. So let's break this down a little bit, okay? The first article I saw that did this actually said that they believe it's Crash Bash. Okay, that's a Crash Bash remake, or that is a multiplayer game that maybe has elements of Crash Bash. Here's the thing. I've actually, whether it's on this channel or whether it's on the main channel, I've talked about like every possibility in the book for this kind of stuff. Number one, is it DLC? So let's just break it down. Is it DLC? I think it could be. To be honest with you, and to be a Debbie Downer just for a second, then we're going to just throw that out the window. I think that's maybe the most realistic, right? Because the game just came out. It's an age of DLC. They could very easily do like new levels or even new skin. They could do so much stuff to to keep this game around a little bit. The game didn't sell in terms of at least physical sales all that well. Maybe they're trying to boost that up. Whatever the reason may be, I think it could be the most realistic or the most likely, but it's kind of the most boring. Like, I'll take more Crash. I love Crash 4. I think it's one of, if not the best Crash game. I really do. I really do think that. It's so good. So I will take more Crash Bandicoot no matter what, okay? I'll buy the next game. I'll buy the next remake. If they want to add on to the existing Crash 4, go ahead. If you want to do a season pass, $20, whatever you want to do, I'll buy it, okay? No problems there. So that's number one. Number two, Crash Bash remake. Yes, please. But there's not much I can say to that. I've made videos on that every time. Besides the Insane Trilogy, when Team Racing or Nitro Refueled came out, and then when Crash 4 came out, I made a video both times, I think on my main channel, and I said we need a Crash Bash remake, okay? Anytime I get the chance to kind of spread that message, like I said about Crash Bash, I'm going to take it. So I've done it twice. I'm sure I'll do it more times in the future because I want it. I think so maybe to sum it up really quickly, and then we'll move on to the next possibility. I mean, I get it's not everybody's favorite. In all reality, let's be serious, okay? It wasn't looked at all that great when it came out. In fact, it still isn't looked at all that great. I think it's like a cult classic. I think there's like an underground community that I would like to meet the leader of and maybe dethrone one day. That we like it, okay? And I think, honestly, even though the game itself maybe wasn't all that great, to remake it, I think does give it that possibility where it's like, well, you could just make it better. You know what I mean? You could redo it because you're doing the same thing over. But if you want to tweak some things or whatever, go ahead. I mean, I think fundamentally it's a really solid idea and it's a really solid game. I'll always love it, but it was a part of my childhood, so it's kind of hard for me to pick on it or like say, well, there's this problem or that problem. I just have the best memories in the world of playing this game, so it's kind of hard for me. But again, I get people. I get most people, maybe most Crash fans, don't look at this as like top tier Crash stuff. Okay, so that was another option. We'll go back and forth here. Option number 3 is a brand new game like Crash 5 or a new Crash. I mean, it could be. It's been done before. Like the Sly Cooper games have done this kind of stuff before, where sometimes they'll attach things to trophies, where like the name of a trophy will kind of hint that there's like more coming for like a next main installment. So it's not impossible. I mean, they've done it. It's not that. Now they didn't do it. They didn't make the Sly stuff that I'm talking about as my example. But like it's possible. You know what I mean? If they wanted to do it, I think they could. To put it on a TV screen though, I don't know. I don't know. It seems, and for it to just be like the Wampa fruit, it's kind of an odd thing to do to just, and why would that signify? See, it actually has a lot more connection to Crash Bash because it's used way more in that game. To use it to tease a Crash 5 seems kind of odd to me. So I would put that one, honestly, so there's 4 options. I would put the DLC probably as the most likely, but also least fun. And I would put a Crash 5 at least likely. Like, it doesn't really make the most sense that that's what they're teasing. Final thing is what this website kind of says, and I've seen it around. I've seen it around in other places too. Maybe it's just a multiplayer game, a multiplayer Crash Bandicoot game. Again, maybe taking some elements from Crash Bash, maybe doing like a Nitro refuel. Now, this is something that I've talked about for a while. In fact, when I've brought up Crash Bash in those videos in the years past, I have thrown that out there as like, well, what if you just did a multiplayer game where you took some of Crash Bash, you took some of a racing game, you took some of this, some of that, and you made it a game? And you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be Crash Bash Remake, doesn't have to be Crash Bash 2, could just be a multiplayer game where you do whatever you want to do. So I think there is a place for that. There really is. I don't think it would be the number one thing that maybe they would go to or would like attract them, right? But I do think it's possible. I really, really do. I think, honestly, a Crash Bash remake is up there. We've talked about it. I feel like the plan going forward with Crash, or at least my idea of it, would be just alternate, do remake, do new game. Because, like, again, you don't do these remakes to just do them and never do new games. Obviously, you want new games. This was the coming together of doing those remakes and having them be very successful, right? Now we get Crash 4. And again, like, I love it. A lot of people loved it. It didn't sell too well. Maybe you try another remake, and you could, even if you want to support the Crash franchise by just doing remakes and then also throwing in new games, even if the new games don't do all that well, I mean, fine, just keep doing it like that. You know what I mean? So to be honest with you guys, my expectation is the next Crash game we get will be a remake. I know people want Twin Sanity. I want Crash Bash. I wouldn't mind Twins. I wouldn't mind anything, okay? I wouldn't mind Twin Sanity though. So there's definitely options out there. I would say this is either a hint of a Crash Bash remake or this is just Crash 4 DLC. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Which one of those 4 options do you think they're hinting at? Or do you think, by the way, I guess option number 5 is it's nothing. They're kind of just messing with us. Let me know in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And I do a brand new video on this channel every single day. And so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.